Okay, all you little ghouls and ghosts, settle down. Settle down. Class is about to start. Hey! Stop it. Okay. Today, because we are approaching All Hallows Eve, it might be nice to have a Halloween-themed lesson. And because of that, we're going to have a look at The Walking Dead Zombie Lurker, brought to us by Skybound, Image, and of course, McFarlane Toys. And, you know, it also works out pretty well because depending on when you're watching this, we're about to see the return of AMC's The Walking Dead, which is based on the comic book, right? So, how fitting that we are going to look at a zombie today. So that's what we're going to look at. We'll look at it in the package, and if you're good, but, well, okay, you can screw around a little bit, and we'll open up the package and see it on the inside as well. So the package itself is very reflective, so you're probably going to catch a look at my tripod and things of that nature. But we can see here, body splits in half. So it does have a gimmick. Usually not big on the gimmicks, but I guess, well, you know what? You can make lots of figures split in half, really, if you try. At any rate. So we can see The Walking Dead there. We can see some zombies, or some walkers, as they're called. Well, at least on the show. I don't remember if they call them that in the comic book or not. It has removable body parts. See back for more info. It's part of Comic Book Series 1. Actually, I really like the look of this packaging. It reminds me of older toys, like from the 90s and maybe even the 80s. I don't know why. There's something about, maybe it's because it's got all the comic book images on it. Very nice. And yes, we can see I bought that at Silver Snail. Excellent store if you're in the greater Toronto area. And on the back, we can see what else is available from The Walking Dead Comic Book Series 1. So we have Ossifer, Rick Grimes. Well, look at this. He comes with a bag. Bag holds 4 guns. Not 3 guns. Not 2 guns, not 1 gun, 4. What the hell kind of selling point is that? Maybe they should make a bag that holds 18 guns. Sorry, I think it's stupid. And actually, quite honestly, I think he looks horrible. Next, we've got Michonne. Now, some people have said, is it Michonne or Michonne? I see 2 N's there. See? 2? Which to me would make that a soft O. So I say Michonne. If you don't like it, shut up. I don't care. Now, Michonne comes with these items. Again, like, what the hell kind of gimmick is that? But anyways, we can see there's a power drill there, her katana, and a couple other things. I won't tell you why she comes with those. If you've read the comic, you will know why, and it's pretty horrible. Next, we've got Zombie Roamer, and his head splits open. That's just kind of cool. And then we've got the Zombie Lurker, which is the one we're going to look at. And he has removable head and guts. And the upper body detaches to reveal, guts. So that's pretty awesome. And then both zombies, if we look up, have various detachable parts. I like the fact, various detachable parts. That just sounds so casual to me. Some of the parts come off just like zombies. Sweet. So this is the one we're going to look at. That's the packaging. So far, I have to say, I'm already liking this. I like zombies, and or I don't, whatever, however you want to look at it. And I'm looking forward to opening this figure. So what we'll do is, I'm going to find something sharp, and we're going to open this thing and have a closer look at a Zombie Lurker. So, here we have our Zombie Lurker. He's lurking, very slowly moving towards the camera. Okay. So, just like we always do, we'll take a quick look all the way around, then we'll point out some of the details on this figure. So actually, I think I have a fair bit to say about it. So, first I think we should start with the colors. Everything well, he's got bright blue pants, so I'm guessing they were blue jeans at one time. But the upper torso, the head, the shirt, all the kind of very muted in color, kind of a grayish, beige-ish color, which you see a lot of zombies when you see them in color, which I should point out, The Walking Dead, the the comic book, was in black and white. So with the exception of the covers, the colors of the zombies, etc., really was kind of up to your imagination because, as I said, all the time it's in black and white. But I think it's kind of accepted that, with the exception of Dawn of the Dead, the original one, the good one, zombies tend to be kind of that grayish, brownish, barfish green color, kind of muted. And of course the clothes that are still on him are supposed to be like rags, so they're kind of dirty and grungy looking as well. But I should point out the sculpt on this thing really is nice. This zombie is probably one that was bitten and reanimated early on in the outbreak. And we can see just how much he's got all the wounds on his head, so either someone's taking a shot at him with something kind of heavy. He's got all the bite rips and bites. Where his original bite wound was, it's kind of hard to say on this one because he's got so much damage to him. He got some there on his hip, on the shoulders, the back of the head, which means someone had to go at him but didn't get the job done. You can see the leg is ripped open pretty good. We have texture in the jeans, which is nice, even the ripped parts. And even on the legs, we can see how the flesh is literally rotting away. We can see the bones exposed there. And even the toenails look like they're kind of jagged and ripped and not in good shape. Which, I mean, it's a zombie, so they shouldn't be. And the face, well, you know what? The eyes, there are no pupils, which I guess is more of a paint thing than a sculpt thing, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure that's the way the zombies always look in The Walking Dead. Depending on what movie or show you're watching, you can still see pupils. And we got the teeth there, and the whole thing looks emaciated, which means he's been a walker or a dead thing for a long time. Looks really, really nice in terms of the sculpt and the paint job on it. Now, and sometimes when you get a figure, sometimes the paint job isn't that good. There's mistakes, but I really haven't found any mistakes on the zombie figure, and really, are you going to find any? I mean, the whole thing is supposed to look grungy and stuff, so even if there was a little bit of red in one place where there shouldn't be, how the hell would you notice anyway? So that's really cool. Now, in terms of the articulation, which I think I'm going to have to rant about a little bit, we can start to point it out. The head, we can turn pretty far around. I don't know if can we go all the way. Come on, you miserable son of a undead bastard. Okay, so yep, the head goes all the way around. Took a little bit of effort. It moves back and forth, which is nice. It's got an extra hinge in there, an extra joint. We can even make the jaw kind of look like it go up and down a little bit, and we'll come back to that when we get to the gimmicks for this figure. The shoulders are on ball joints, so they can go all the way around. And they can go up and down a little bit. We can bend the elbows on both sides. And this one doesn't move too much. Oh my goodness. Like, it's supposed to. There's a joint there, but I don't know how well that's going to move. It's supposed to, but I'm not going to try to force it. There's nothing to rotate, but the wrist we can bend a little bit as well. Now, at the torso, we can move a little bit, but that's going to be based more on his gimmick, not so much having a joint there, which, again, we'll get back to the gimmicks. Nothing in the waist. At the legs, we can rotate the thighs a little bit. I'm sure it'll go all the way around. Yeah, it does. Let's see if we can line that back up. We can bend the knees. There's a little bit of a joint there, and then that's it for this leg. And then on the other one, again, we can rotate at the thigh. We can bend a little bit at the knee. And then the foot, it appears to be on a ball joint because it moves around a little bit. So there's not really a whole lot in terms of articulation. And the one thing I want to point out about that is, well, one, it's a McFarlane Figures or McFarlane Toys figure. And I haven't bought McFarlane Toys in a very long time, since the original Spawn and Medieval Spawn came out. That's how long ago it was. But what I will say is that they were never known much for their articulation at the time anyway. And I think that's, I mean, as I said, I haven't been buying them, but I get the impression that's still the case. Really nice sculpt, really good paint, but movement, not so much. But it really makes me wonder why they have some of the articulation they do in this figure and not in other places. Like, we can twist the thighs and we can bend the knees a little bit, but really, if you want to reliably stand this thing up, you're probably just going to leave it in the same pose that it was in the package. There's not much else you can do. You can't move the hips, or the waist. The hips don't move at all. So maybe you want to turn the one leg out a little bit. Maybe that'll give them a little more traction. But really, you're not going to do too much. So really, the articulation in the legs is almost a waste of time and effort, to be perfectly honest with you. And same with the heel down here. Like, who gives a damn? Honestly, I think at this point they should have just made it one solid piece, because you're probably going to stand it this way anyway. We can't move the arms, which is nice. The only thing I really regret, and we'll see a little bit more when we get to the gimmicks, is there's no rotation in the forearm. That would have been really, really nice. I would have liked that a lot. Just to have a separate piece there that we could have moved around. Now for the gimmicks. We said for this thing, I guess the first and foremost thing is that it splits in half. So basically, we're going to pretend that we have a gun or something, and it'll be like Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which is my personal favorite of the series, and this zombie gets blown... Shut up! That movie was fun!
Oh, come on.
It was dumb, but it was dumb. I enjoyed it. I don't have anything else to say. Go watch Return of the Living Dead 2. Right now, I can wait. He can't. You done that yet? Did you pause and come back? Really, it's only 90 minutes. Okay. Go watch it. Now, we can blow this zombie in half. Boom! And then the legs. Oh my goodness. And then we've got the top half. What's really nice is they spent a lot of time, whoever had to do this, spent a lot of time sculpting the guts and coloring it. Like we can see intestines in there, and that's probably a stomach, and the other intestines hanging out. And they even put a joint in it, so you can move the guts around, and you can see the rib cage in there. That took a lot of doing. Someone put a lot of effort into this, I have to say. And even the guts part of it, it's a softer plastic. It feels even a little bit squishy, which, you know, is kind of got the effect to it. It grosses the evil wife out, so it gets my seal of approval. Now, whenever you have I guess he's no longer a lurker, he's more of a crawler, you're going to have them on their arms and looking up. So it's nice that we can move the head all the way up so he's looking up. But the arms, because they don't rotate, we can't have him look like he's crawling along. We can kind of do it with this one, but not because they put in a piece of articulation for it. So even though he's going to be crawling on the ground, he's going to be like this, like an idiot. It would have been exceptionally good if they put the extra little bit of articulation in there, because then it would look like he's crawling around, and he doesn't have that. Real big disappointment for me. So we can blow him in half, and we just said, actually the top part we don't need anything more. It doesn't do anything else. My camera's having a hard time focusing. I don't know what's going on here. What I will point out is, I don't know how well we can see it because of the light, but this thing is the hole is pretty deep, like, considering, but it's got to hold all these entrails and shit, right? So maybe that's why. It's got to be pretty deep so we can stuff it all back in. Get in there we go. Boom! Okay. Now the other bits that come off, we can pull off his arm, so he can be a one-arm zombie, and then we can pull off his hand, so we've got a bit of an arm here, and then we've got a hand. I'll come back to this in a second because I think this is particularly awesome. And then this other arm stays intact, and then the head, we can have a head shot, but damn, we can take the head right off. So then we can have a Day of the Dead thing where we have the top of a skull sitting there, and it kind of looks around because it wants to eat something, but, you know, it can't because, well, there's no muscles left, really. Maybe in the top of that. And if you look, well, let's see if we can focus on that a little bit. Try. We can see there is brain matter in there. They actually put the brain in there, which is actually pretty cool, all things considered, given that it's something that you're probably not going to see all that often. So we can pull them all apart. That's kind of cool. Now, I want to go back to the hand. The reason I like this especially is that if we just prop that up a little bit, like that, all of a sudden to me, I don't know about the rest of you kiddies, but to me, let's see if I can get it to focus. Focus. Oh, too bad, it won't focus. Stupid camera. It looks like the hand from Evil Dead 2 that runs around and kicks Ash's ass. And that is just awesome. See, now I need to get an Ash figure because I've got a severed hand. I think that's just awesome. I guess you could say it's thing from Addams Family, but who cares about Addams Family? Ash is better.
Aww.
Shut up, I don't care. Anyways, so that to me is exceptionally awesome. That just makes me happy all over. Anyways, whoa, so we'll see if we can put him back together. The one thing, actually, in regards to putting it back together, none of the joints pop or snap in place. They all just kind of fit snugly, and I think it's based on the softness of the plastic. And that is actually good. I do like that because someone said, oh, you're gonna get it, this thing is gonna fall apart. No, not so much. Because it's not a joint or a snap that will eventually wear out over time, I think. And because it's relatively soft plastic, it should hold up together pretty well. So here's hoping. I think that'll be the case. Now, one other gripe that I have is some of the joints itself. And I don't know how well we can see it there, but we can see the texture. We can see like the knuckles on the joint here, and we can see it as well on the neck, both the front and the back. And the only reason I don't like it is because it's very clearly a different color, so they didn't color it, and it kind of takes away from the figure because I think once you see it, you'll always see it. And that annoys me a little bit. They could have at least colored it the same flesh tone. That way it's not as visible, and you can see it on the arms as well, or on the shoulders. A minor gripe, but it's something that does annoy me a little bit. As I said, you probably have to look for it in order to see it. All in all, you know what? I think it's a decent figure. If I were to grade this thing, which is something that I do apparently, I would give this figure an A for appendix. Because we're going to rip it out of him or something. I don't know. I had to pick something, and that's the only thing I could come up with off the top of my head. So he gets an A because, you know, it is a pretty good figure. It has its flaws, which is why it's not in the A+ category. The joints annoy me a little bit. The fact that there's some articulation, but it's just kind of a tease, kind of annoys me a little bit. But otherwise, it's a good figure, which will be nice standing with some of my other horror figures that I'm starting to collect. It's pretty good. I'd recommend, actually, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead or you like zombies, I think this would be a good addition to your collection. So anyways, guys and ghouls, I think that was our special Halloween-themed lesson on The Walking Dead's zombie Lurker. Thank you very much, and class is dismissed.